welcome back to the Mookie Wilson channel, and you are looking live at another cue card. This is an outline, a rundown of what we're going to talk about in the order we're going to talk about it in, and this helped me sort of stay on track last time, and I hope it works for you, the home viewer, this time. And this is a card show extravaganza episode. The other end of the ITs that we were going to the Westchester show this weekend, that did happen. There was a major Mookie interaction, which I will show you photographic evidence of, so stay tuned for that. That's the tease, that's the reveal. I'll talk to you about the YouTubers I met, some pickups, including Pete's pickups, my buddy Pete, who shops in the big boy aisle because he's making me. And then a very special pickup that has to do with my family that I just did not expect to be picking this up over the weekend. So I think that's an interesting story. I hope you stay around for. And then we'll meet the Mook and have a photographic reveal. So first, the YouTubers, BRoth6, who was set up at the show and whose setup was as curated and as thoughtfully curated as all the content that he puts out and all the discussions that he partakes in the hobby. It was great to talk cards with him. It was great to talk about our shared love of the New York Mets. And it was just great to meet him in human form there in Westchester. As it was Dan from Dan's Vintage PC, who I told when I met him that, you know, he has created his own lane with the deep dives on players and teams and sets that he has done. I listen to everything he puts out and love it all and learn so much from it, as I did when I spoke to him in Westchester. We had a great long conversation on the floor, and I hope there are many more to come with both him and with Brian. So it was a real treat to meet those guys. To pickups, and I want to show you, I'm going to start with my buddy Pete here, who, again, he shops in a different aisle of the store. That's his 1960 Topps Mickey Mantle and his 1973 Topps Willie Mays in a 7, which is cut off. But again, he's like a centering freak. These cards are really well centered and cost him more than I spent. I'll tell you why. Because I was in the value bin looking for Ichiro Heritage short prints. And 2 of them, thank you, and an action variation DeGrom, and a Juan LeBron rookie card / Carlos Beltran rookie card. Now, which would you rather have? And then a Virgil Trucks 1955 Bowman, which has a great story on the back that you should read. But I think I paid like $1 for each of these, so no big deal. But my big pickup has to do with somebody I did not expect to. This was totally unexpected for me. It has to do with this man. Not Tommy Lasorda in the center on the mound there making the pitching change. The man on the right, whose name is John McSherry, Big John McSherry, who is a National League umpire from the early 70s all the way through to 1996. And you probably know John McSherry, as most of the world knows John McSherry, for being the umpire who died on the field on opening day in Cincinnati at Riverfront Stadium in 1996. He had a massive heart attack and died instantly on the field. A very tragic day for everyone except for Marge Schott, but particularly tragic for my father, who was friends with John McSherry. And he was friends with John McSherry because John McSherry would come into his bar. My father owned a restaurant and bar in the Upper East Side of Manhattan in the 70s and 80s. And John McSherry was a New Yorker and a patron of my father's restaurant. So much so that they became very good friends, he and my father, to the point where my father would call John sometimes when he had a hole in his staffing, and John would come in and wait or bartend for him. John as my mother said, was kind of a lost soul, and really appreciated my father's friendship, and they really were buddies. In fact, as you know, I said, well, when was this, Mom? Like in the 70s? She said, yeah, mid 70s, late 70s. And I, looking back at John McSherry's history, that's John McSherry. Those are Reggie Jackson's 3 home runs at Yankee Stadium in 1977, the World Series. It was Game 6, and John McSherry was the home plate umpire because he was the 6th man in a 6-man umpire crew. So he was back there as a very young umpire, watching Reggie, send those 3 balls into the Bronx air. And so, as I said to my mom, he may very well have gone for drinks with Dad later that night. And he may very well have gone to work a shift with Dad the next week because it was the off season. And she said, yeah, maybe. She said he was a very funny guy. And she said that they tried to set him up with my aunt, but it didn't work. So I never had an Uncle John McSherry. But I found this at an autograph table at the show in Westchester this weekend. And it's from John McSherry's stationery, August 14th, 1994. This was a couple days after baseball went out on strike. So John had some opportunity to answer some letters. And it says, "Dear sir, enclosed are the only pictures I have. It's not much. Good luck in your future work. John McSherry." And so that was really nice to pick up. I remember when my father, when John McSherry died, my father went to the funeral, and there were all kinds of luminaries there. I think Tommy Lasorda was there, my father said. And there was one man who was not there, who I know was not there, and that was Sparky Anderson. My father told me that John McSherry hated Sparky Anderson. He hated him so much so that when, again, this is bar, they were in the bar a lot. John McSherry would tell my father, instead of, when he had to go to the bathroom, he would say, instead of I have to go take a, what, I have to go take a Sparky. So he used the name Sparky as a, what. Anyway, so now I will place in the Mookie Museum, I'll put John McSherry right on top of Sparky in honor of my family friend. And so now we get to the autograph signing that I went to. Let's click these out. I met 2 Mets, Bobby Ojeda, who signed this 86 O-Pee-Chee for me. He was less impressed than I was. I said, look, you weren't a Red Sox uniform. He said, yep, I've been signing a lot of these today. Okay, he was not. Anyway, I shook his hand and thanked him for the memories. And so it was great to meet Bobby Ojeda. And then I met the man, Mookie Wilson, who I have met before, but not since I started this channel. I handed him this card, this 85 Tiffany card, and I said to him, this was from the year that I first came to see you at Shea Stadium, 1985. And he said, oh, it's a beautiful card. You kept this in great condition. It's beautiful. He kept saying, I don't want to mess it up. He kept remarking about how nice the card was, which I really appreciated. And he signed it. And I shook his hand again. And I said, thank you for everything. And I said, would you take a picture with me? And he said, of course. And so he took a picture with me. And so there's me on the left. That's me. And that's Mookie Wilson on the right. What's funny is I had to wait around for a while for Bobby Ojeda because for some reason there was a delay. And so I watched all these fans go up and meet Mookie Wilson and shake his hand and tell them how much he meant to them fathers introducing their children to him, grown men with tears in their eyes, talking about how much they appreciated him. It was just great. It was great to see, and he was joyful and exuberant and accommodating. One guy wanted William Hayward Wilson on his ball, but he wouldn't do that. He only signs Mookie. He said he doesn't know how to spell William. That was funny. So there we are, me and Mookie. And so I waited forever for Bobby Ojeda, and then when I got done with Bobby Ojeda, Mookie was finishing up. And so I went up to him and I said, I just want you to know how much you mean to me, and you mean so much to me that I've created a YouTube channel sort of in your honor. And I showed him the Mookie Chilson thing on my phone, and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, okay, that's great." And we shook hands again, and I said, "I love you, pal." And he said, "All right." And then he walked away. And so that was it. So that was when, again, the first time I met him since I started this channel. One day I'm going to do my big Why Mookie is the Man video, but not today. Anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I think we got through the whole rundown. Yeah, we did. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.